The Ontario government is fighting the federal government's carbon tax. My question to you is, why do you disagree with them?
Well, I mean, we're facing a climate emergency. We need to take immediate action to address it. Meanwhile, the premier of our province is wasting taxpayer dollars trying to sabotage federal climate solutions. It makes absolutely no sense to me.
A lot of people are concerned about their cost of living going up with this carbon tax. How would you address their concerns?
Well, I totally understand people's concerns around affordability, which is why the Green Party has always supported a carbon fee and rebate program. Put a price on pollution, something you don't want, and then in a revenue neutral way, return all the money back to people to help them be able to afford the transition to a low carbon economy. That being said, the price of climate change is really like a tax on everything. So the costs are escalating. Last year alone, insurable losses in Ontario was $1.2 billion. In the first 6 months of last year alone, extreme weather events due to climate change cost the average household in Ontario $350. So if we don't act, those costs are only going to escalate.
Your proposed plan during the election, I want to refer to it here, was a revenue neutral approach. How can a revenue neutral carbon tax effectively curb behavior and therefore reduce emissions?
Well, I mean, economists across the political spectrum and around the world, including Nobel Prize winning economists, have shown that the lowest cost, most effective way to help reduce greenhouse gas pollution is to put a price on pollution. And we've seen it work. In Sweden, the very first country to ever have a price on pollution, they have one of the best performing economies in Europe, and they've significantly reduced their greenhouse gas pollution. British Columbia, the first province in Canada, bring forward a price on pollution. They have the strongest economy in Canada right now, and they've seen their greenhouse gas emissions go down. Same thing in California. They have a price on pollution, one of the best performing economies in the United States, and they've met their climate targets 4 years ahead of schedule. Pollution pricing works.
How could the public be sure this isn't just another tax that is going to make the government richer? And how could they ensure that their money is going where the government says it's going to go?
That's exactly why I've always supported, and the Green Party has always supported, a revenue neutral carbon fee and rebate program. So people have the confidence that this is going to be used to take climate action. And that's exactly why we're proposing that. And that's why then we talk about funding other climate-related programs through other mechanisms, not through pollution pricing, because we want people to trust us, trust that the action that we're taking is actually going to address the climate crisis that we're facing.
What's next for the Green Party of Ontario?
Well, you know, I'm going to continue to be an effective MPP at Queen's Park. I've already brought forward a private member's bill that received all party support at second reading to protect our water. I think I've been a very effective voice on a variety of issues, from opposing cuts to healthcare, education, and public services, to pushing the government to take action on climate change. And I'll continue to do that, and I'll continue to be effective doing that by doing politics differently. I think we've seen that with the PEI Greens, who are leading in the polls in their provincial election, the BC Greens, which are holding the balance of responsibility in a minority government, and the New Brunswick Greens that have gone from 1 member to a 3-member caucus. And I'm expecting that kind of growth in Ontario as well, because I think people are hungry for a political party that's going to do politics differently, that's going to put partisanship and political games aside, going to put people before politics and principle before party.
Thanks so much for your time.